Welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. This is episode 102, Unlocking Projection, the truth about projection on your spiritual path. So, have you ever been accused of something that felt completely untrue and yet it still stuck with you? Or have you ever found yourself judging someone else harshly only later to realize that it was really about you? Those are examples of projection, and we all do it. It's pretty common. Here's some definitions of projection. First, through the psychological lens. Projection is viewed as a defense mechanism where we unconsciously attribute our own thoughts, feelings, or traits onto someone else. Projection protects our ego from shame, guilt, and anxiety, but it keeps us facing away from uncomfortable truths. And these uncomfortable truths are often rooted in unhealed wounds and trauma. So, spiritually speaking, projection is a mirror of the soul. It reflects back at us parts that remain unhealed or acknowledged. This projection reinforces the separation mindset of me versus them instead of promoting the oneness that we should have between us. Projection keeps us blaming others for the pain that we often haven't faced ourselves. And it does usually happen unconsciously. We all do it. It's common in all types of relationships. But what this projection is doing is it disguises our wounds and builds walls between us and the truth. So once we stop projecting and start reflecting, then you're holding the key to self-awareness, growth, and transformation. But it does take a great deal of self-awareness. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. First, this is what happens when we project. When we project, it doesn't mean it's a failure. It's actually a flashlight shined on our unhealed wounds and insecurities and shame. But it causes us to accuse others of these things that are actually going on within us. So here's some reasons and what happens when we project. Number one, we're unaware of our emotions. Anger, jealousy, fear, and shame. Calling someone stupid due to our own insecurity is an example of projecting. We're avoiding responsibility. We're using this defense mechanism to shift blame onto others instead of admitting that we're the one who messed up. Number three, we haven't healed own wounds. So unresolved childhood and relationship traumas cause us to accuse others of trying to dominate us. Another reason why we project is we're ashamed of a particular trait or desire that we have within us, and we project parts of ourselves that we judge or disown. From Carl Jung, this is called shadow projection. We want to seem to be nice, but we're projecting aggression onto others and calling them rude and mean. Another reason we project is our ego feels threatened. So projection acts like an armor for the ego, and rather than facing our own painful truths, it's easier to point fingers at others. So here's what to do when you catch yourself projecting, how to correct that. First of all, pause and reflect before reacting. So often projection comes as a quick reaction and a response. And when we pause, that interrupts the cycle of just immediately reacting to something. So try to pause and then ask, why did that trigger me? Or what am I really feeling underneath this judgment? Okay, so how to correct yourself when you find that you're projecting onto others. Pause and reflect. The next step would be to identify the emotion behind the projection. Look for what emotions you're avoiding. Is it shame, envy, anger, insecurity? So for example, if you feel someone is full of themselves, then maybe look inward and ask, why am I feeling unseen or small right now? Okay, the next step after pause and reflect and identify the emotion would be to take ownership internally. Silently acknowledge this is about me and not them, and then course correct and claim your emotions. Then using your journaling, work through this. So journal the trigger. Write about what you thought, what you felt, and what is the mirror showing you, this mirror of projection when you're pointing fingers at others. What part of me do I see in them is a great question to ask. Apologize if needed. Did your projection hurt someone? Authentic apology can heal both sides. Keep it simple, but keep it honest. Explore the shadow side of it. Ask yourself, what do I judge in others that I secretly fear or deny within myself? What shadow work is needed? See my episode about shadow work. I'll try to pop the on the screen there and tell you what episode that is. And then also practice self-compassion. So don't shame yourself for projecting. Just celebrate your awareness that you're doing it and you're willing to work on that aspect of yourself. So that whole last section had to do with when we project and why we project. And this next bit is about when others project on us, which happens, as I said, it's common. We all do it. So when others project on us, they might accuse you of things that just don't fit into your personality or your behavioral patterns or your intentions or your feelings for that matter. It's just a whole slew of accusations that don't belong to you. So I'm going to tell you how to respond and deal with this in a few minutes, but this is others projecting. So they accuse you of things that don't fit. Number two, they react intensely to something minor. So they're triggered by a small comment or action, and their response is actually less about you and more about what you represent to them, a wound they're carrying or a fear that they may have. Okay, hold up, I lost my spot. When others project. Number three, you feel confused or blindsided. So you're thinking, where is this coming from? As this person has projected onto you and accused you or insulted you in some way. And confusion is a clue that you're being made to carry something that isn't yours. If it's something that truly applies to you, you'll feel it resonate within you. You know in your higher self, in your deepest self, in essence, where truth is, where it lies. You know when something hits and resonates, and when it doesn't, it just is confusing because it doesn't fit. So here's how to respond to accusations that don't fit, or when you're feeling blindsided, when this person is reacting intensely or accuse you of things that you're not guilty of. So here's how to respond. Number one, stay grounded. And you can actually use this response. You might want to write these down and memorize a few of them because you may need them in the future. So number one, how to respond, stay grounded. And here's the statement: that doesn't resonate with how I see myself. And by saying that, you're affirming your own reality without arguing with the other person about who you are. Use boundaries, not justification, by saying something like, I'm not going to take responsibility for what isn't mine. And you're not required to explain your stance either. Another way to respond would be to reflect back with compassion by saying a statement like this: it sounds like it may be more about how you're feeling than about me, which invites others to reflect inward without being confrontational. Another response could be, don't take the bait. Silence or non-reactivity can be a powerful response, and not everyone deserves your energy. Of course, you'll have to use some discrimination to decide which of these responses is appropriate, but try a couple of them. I've done this don't take the bait quite a bit myself, and it's very effective. Another response would be affirm your reality in private. So just with yourself, journal or reflect that this was a projection and affirm that you don't need to carry it. Other people's baggage, you don't need to carry that. Or you could respond with curiosity, and after this person projects onto you and makes some type of judgmental or accusatory statement, you could answer like this: what makes you say that? And that shifts the dynamic from you being defensive to investigating the true source of why they would say something like that to you. So projection, something we all do. So now you've got some tools of how to deal with it when you catch yourself projecting onto others, and how to respond when others project onto you. Through self-awareness, we can catch ourselves projecting. It's not comfortable admitting that the fault we see in others may actually lie within us, and it's something that needs to be addressed. But only through self-reflection and being honest with ourselves can we stop the cycle of looking externally to place blame, but instead starting to look inwardly and to begin healing for what is crying for attention within us. This is our episode for today. I hope you all are doing really well. I wish you peace, love, and light. I'll be back very soon. Have a great day, and that's it for now. Bye.